In 96 years of World Cup history, 22 tournaments, thousands of matches, not one single manager had ever been fired after just one game. Until yesterday.
Right now, literally everyone is talking about this unbelievable breaking news. But in this explainer, we're going to dig into the crazy details that, honestly, nobody else is bringing up. The real question we need to ask is, how on earth did a team that actually qualified for the biggest sporting event on the planet plunge into absolute chaos before their second game even kicked off?
Part 1. 6 months of chaos.
Okay, let's dive into this. To truly grasp the sheer magnitude of yesterday's historic firing, we've got to look past the immediate shock in Mexico. This dark backstory actually begins 6 months prior to the tournament. Sabri Lamouchi took the reins of the Tunisian national team in January of 2026. The federation brought him in right after Tunisia crashed out of the Africa Cup of Nations, and they handed him a contract meant to run until 2028. They basically needed a quick fix. But they gave him 5 prove-it games before the World Cup, and well, by May of 2026, he'd managed just a single razor-thin 1-0 win against Haiti in those 5 games.
The alarm bells, they were absolutely deafening right before the tournament. Just look at these 2 warm-up matches played a mere 6 weeks out. 0 goals scored, 6 goals conceded. First, they drop a 1-0 game to Austria, but then a complete 5-0 demolition at the hands of Belgium. A 5-0 defeat just 6 weeks out from a World Cup is totally devastating. Yet crazily enough, Tunisia still boarded that plane to Mexico with him in charge.
And then, the chaos spilled completely off the pitch. According to internal reports leaking out of the camp, Lamouchi made a truly bizarre call. He actually brought his own son into Tunisia's highly secured World Cup training base during their preparations. We're talking about someone with 0 official role, absolutely no accreditation, and frankly, no business being in a locked-down international training environment. Obviously, the Federation found out, demanded answers, and instantly, this massive standoff over trust erupted. So before a single ball was even kicked at this World Cup, the manager and the bosses who hired him were literally at war.
Part 2. The public breaking point.
So the crucial point is tensions were already at an absolute boiling point. The players were turning on him, the Federation had completely lost faith, and the whole shebang finally came to a head on Sunday at Estadio Monterrey, Tunisia versus Sweden. And guys, it wasn't just a 5-1 defeat. It was an outright humiliation on the pitch. But amazingly, shockingly, shipping 5 goals to Sweden wasn't even the worst part of the night. You have to watch what went down in the 72nd minute. Lamouchi subs off his defender, Yohan Benalouan, and Benalouan doesn't even try to hide his reaction. He walks off the pitch, visibly furious, just openly raging at his own coach. This wasn't some private, behind-closed-door spat in the locker room. This happened on live, global television, at a World Cup, in front of literally the entire world.
Listen, the simple truth in football is that when your own players are openly seething at you, when they're challenging your authority right in the middle of a World Cup match, that relationship is totally dead. There is absolutely 0 coming back from that. And sure enough, exactly 24 hours later, Sabri Lamouchi was gone. He earned the incredibly dark distinction of being the first manager in World Cup history to get the boot after just 1 single game.
Part 3. Enter Hervé Renard.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because this is where the story takes a massive, unprecedented plot twist. Tunisia didn't just panic and grab whoever happened to be looking for a job to fill that empty seat. They didn't settle, no. They picked up the phone and they called Hervé Renard. Now, if that name doesn't immediately command your attention, let me take you back a bit to the 2022 World Cup in Qatar to remind you of his legendary status. Renard was managing Saudi Arabia, right? The ultimate tournament underdogs. In the group stage, they came up against Argentina. That's the Argentina squad featuring Messi and Di Maria, one of the greatest teams ever assembled, and the heavy favorites who actually went on to win the whole thing. But in that match, Renard's Saudi Arabia pulled off the totally unthinkable. They beat Argentina 2-1. It stands to this very day as one of the biggest, most shocking upsets in the entire history of the World Cup. And that game firmly solidified Hervé Renard as the most extraordinary crisis manager in all of international football.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why he's so highly regarded. I mean, his track record is just unprecedented. He's now managing at his 3rd consecutive World Cup. But get this, with 3 completely different nations. Morocco in 2018, Saudi Arabia in 2022, and now Tunisia in 2026. 3 World Cups, 3 nations, 1 guy.
Part 4. The Ultimate Crisis Mission. Shifting our focus to the immediate future, we really have to recognize the stark reality of this situation. Because even for a seasoned veteran like Renard, he has never ever faced an emergency rescue mission quite like the one waiting for him in Monterrey. Think about it. He's flying in with absolutely zero preparation time. None. He has to walk into a dressing room that just watched its coach get publicly humiliated and fired. The squad is incredibly low on confidence and running super high on frustration. And their reward for all this? Their very next opponents are Japan and the Netherlands, literally two of the absolute best organized teams at this entire tournament, back to back. Renard is being asked to instantly face them with a squad that is fundamentally broken.
Back in 2022, Renard walked into Saudi Arabia and took down the eventual world champions. Now Tunisia is asking him to pull off something even more impossible. History tells us, for sure, never to write this man off. But history has also never seen a World Cup dressing room fall apart this incredibly fast. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Was this the bravest decision in World Cup history? Or did Tunisia just destroy their own tournament in one massive panic move? Drop your answers in the comments below. Because as we are seeing right now, this World Cup is already producing stories nobody could have ever written.